What if I told you the Stargate was never supposed to make perfect sense? I mean, really think about it. How does a giant alien ring buried in the sand, built thousands of years ago by a snake-headed alien god, still work with modern computers? Why does it spin sometimes and other times not at all? Why does it need 7 symbols? 8? Wait, 9? Hold on. Anyways, today we will uncover every Stargate plot hole you were never meant to see. Let's start with the gate itself, our shimmering blue best friend and occasional logic nightmare. Remember the first time we saw it dial? That glorious rotation, chevrons locking with dramatic ka-chunks, that last moment before the wormhole whooshes to life. It was magical, but also inconsistent as hell. Originally, it took 7 symbols to dial another planet within the same galaxy. Makes sense. Earth's point of origin plus 6 coordinates in space. Easy enough. But then came the 8th chevron, needed for intergalactic travel. Okay, cool, the stakes just got bigger. But then, bam, Stargate Universe hits us with a 9th chevron that dials a ship drifting between galaxies. Wait, why does the gate even have a 9th chevron if it's just a local transit system for Goa'uld road trips? But don't get me started on wormhole travel times. Sometimes the trip takes seconds. Other times, they've apparently been in the wormhole long enough to have conversations on both ends. Daniel has literally been beamed out mid-transit. Is there a tiny alien cafe in the wormhole for when plot pacing needs a snack break? There's also the matter of who can dial what and from where. Sometimes Earth's gate needs a massive power source. Sometimes a car battery will do. And remember the time they dialed a black hole and the gravity was affecting gate function through the wormhole? That one deserves a slow clap. And a migraine. Writers even had to invent the term plot dialing protocol. Okay, they didn't officially call it that, but they might as well have. Every time the story needed to cheat the gate rules, boom, a new chevron reason appeared. The ancients did it. The gate's from a different era. We upgraded the system, sure. But yet, we bought it. Every time. Because even when the logic cracked, the mystery held. Stargate gave us a system that felt tactile, mechanical, possible. Even when it was impossibly inconsistent. But if you thought these were big plot holes, then you will be shocked by the next ones. You ever notice how Stargate loved inventing shiny new tech, only to never mention it again? Let's start with the Naquadah detector. Carter spent entire episodes fine-tuning that thing to sniff out traces of alien metal. It beeped dramatically. It saved lives. It was kind of adorable. But then, gone. Like it got left in a Ziploc bag in the SGC's junk drawer and forgotten forever. Then we had the cool disruptor, the only thing that could take down the unstoppable super soldiers. The moment it showed up, it was game-changing. Carter even reverse-engineered it using ancient tech. But then, they won one battle, the Goa'uld fell, and the disruptors were never needed again, or seen again, or even referenced. What about those ships? Earth slowly builds up a fleet. The Prometheus, the Daedalus, the Odyssey. At first, they're a big deal. Then suddenly, they're just flying plot devices. Sometimes we have them, sometimes we don't. Sometimes they show up just in time to save SG-1 like a well-timed pizza delivery, right? Even ancient tech had selective memory. The communication stones let humans swap bodies across the galaxy. Wild concept. Used heavily in Stargate Universe. But in SG-1 and Atlantis, barely touched. Why? Because convenient tech makes writing inconvenient. The moment something solves too many problems, it quietly disappears. And let's not forget the Ark of Truth. One artifact to brainwash entire civilizations out of religious devotion. It gets used once. Once. No spin-offs, no backfires, no, hey, should we maybe not use the brainwashing box again? Stargate is a universe of tech that obeys one rule. Use it hard for one episode, then never call it again. It's like your friend who brings over a cool gadget, lets you play with it once, then ghosts you forever. But it wasn't just the gadgets that went missing. Sometimes the show forgot people. Whole characters, relationships, even major emotional events just vanished. So, what if the biggest plot holes aren't about the tech, but about characters? Let's start with Samantha Carter. Brilliant, brave, and apparently cursed to die or reset at least once a season. She's been possessed, duplicated, aged, de-aged, blown up in hyperspace, and trapped in multiple time loops, and yet each time it's like her trauma gets scrubbed before the next mission brief. One episode she's dealing with the loss of Martouf. Next week, poker night with Teal'c. Crazy, right? Then there's Daniel Jackson. Ah, Daniel, the man who dies more times than a red shirt on shore leave. He ascends, descends, gets wiped from existence, returns with partial memory, loses it again, and yet somehow still manages to be the team's moral compass. You'd think by Ascension number 2, he'd have some kind of soul insurance policy. But no, every return feels like a soft reboot. But we must not forget Jonas Quinn. You remember Jonas, right? Of course you don't. He joined the team after Daniel's death, contributed big ideas, earned respect. Then Daniel came back and Jonas was airlifted out of the narrative. No closure, no big goodbye, just poof. A season of character building and Stargate just deleted him. Teal'c? He spent years wrestling with loyalty, family, and freedom from Apophis, but yet half the time, those deep personal arcs are shelved so he can deliver exposition in a stoic tone. One episode, he's dealing with the death of his son. Next, he's offering tactical advice like nothing happened. Even Jack O'Neill, arguably the heart of SG-1, sometimes shrugs off entire alien invasions or near-death experiences with a one-liner and a smirk. It's charming, sure, but occasionally it feels like everyone's got a built-in plot reset button. Maybe it's the nature of episodic TV, maybe it's the curse of long-running sci-fi, or maybe, just maybe, character memory loss is the real secret weapon of Stargate. Because if you forget enough, you don't have to explain anything. But hey, if the characters don't remember what happened last week, why should the villains? Speaking of which, let's talk about villain logic, or the glorious lack thereof. I found something very strange here. Let's be real. Stargate had some amazing villains, but consistent, logical, strategically sound? Not exactly. Let's start with the Goa'uld, supposedly ancient, cunning parasites who rule with fear and advanced tech. But yet, most of them made decisions like bored reality TV contestants. Why send armies when you can monologue? Why kill your enemies when you can dramatically walk away and give them time to escape? Apophis alone dies more times than Daniel and keeps coming back with even less of a plan. He blows up his own ships, underestimates the Tauri every season, and trusts his enemies way too much. Tactical genius? More like Space Diva with delusions of grandeur. But then came the replicators, at first terrifying, unstoppable metallic insects that learn, adapt, consume entire civilizations. Pure science fiction nightmare fuel. But later, suddenly they're obsessed with merging with humans, speaking in cryptic metaphors, or turning into goth replicator versions of our heroes. Wait, how do bugs become emotionally unstable robots with identity crises? The rules of their evolution shifted faster than a Stargate dial. One episode, they're immune to bullets. The next, a well-placed Zat or ancient weapon wipes them out. Are they godlike AI, or just plot puppets with metal shells? Now you have also the Ori, gods with universe-bending power, capable of wiping out worlds, rewriting minds, and sending armies of zealots. So what do? They slowly invade, monologue, and inexplicably allow Earth time to counterattack. For all their divine might, their strategy often boiled down to, let's see what happens. Even their priors, supposedly all-knowing prophets, lose debates to Daniel weekly. It's like the Ori gave their top minds the power of persuasion, but forgot to download common sense. And let's not forget Baal.
I am Baal.
That's it? Just Baal?
Ah, yes, Baal. The last Goa'uld standing, master of cloning himself so many times that even he seemed confused. He's smart, stylish, charming, and ultimately defeated by his own overcomplicated schemes. It's like he was trying to outwit the script instead of SG-1. Stargate villains weren't designed to win. They were designed to stall, just long enough for SG-1 to pull off something clever, blow up something shiny, and hit the reset button. Because in this universe, even the villains are bound by one rule. Don't win, just entertain. Stargate loves time travel, loves it. But time travel in Stargate, it's a beautiful, chaotic mess held together with duct tape, paradoxes, and sheer narrative willpower. So let's rewind to 1969. SG-1 accidentally gets flung back in time thanks to solar flares and a gate dialed at the wrong moment. It's fun, clever, emotional. They meet a young General Hammond, hitchhike across the country, and manage to return without breaking anything. Except, that episode opened the door to a lot of questions. If solar flares can cause time travel, why not use them on purpose? Why not exploit that tech later? Oh wait, they do. In 2010, and Mobius and Continuum. And every time the rules change. Sometimes you can interact with your past self. Sometimes that'll break everything. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes alternate timelines collapse. Sometimes they just hang out awkwardly. Mobius alone has so many contradictions, you'd need a whiteboard, 5 colors of string, and a Teal'c clone just to map it. SG-1 travels back to ancient Egypt, leaves a video message, dies off screen, gets replaced by an alternate SG-1, and somehow everything ends up fine. Kind of. Maybe. But then Continuum arrives, and we're back at square one, but also not. Baal changes history, Earth's gate disappears, the world forgets SG-1 ever existed until they fix it again. Sort of. And does anyone remember the time Teal'c lived a whole second life in Unending during a time dilation field that no one ever mentions again? It's like the writers said, time's not real unless we really need it to be. Even the ancients, who invented half this tech, seem confused by their own creations.
You're an ascended ancient.
Time machines, time loops, alternate futures, all treated like casual side quests. There's no prime directive here, just prime chaos. And yet, we watched every second. Because while the timelines made no sense, the emotions did. Love lost, worlds erased, second chances earned, Stargate broke time, and we felt it. Still, maybe there's a reason they stopped trying to explain it. By now, we've poked holes in half the Stargate franchise. We've questioned the gate's logic, laughed at vanishing tech, sighed at forgotten character arcs, and side-eyed every villain monologue. So why do we keep coming back? Because Stargate was never just about rules. It was about feeling. That moment the wormhole whooshes to life. The soft piano as someone says goodbye through the gate. The laughter in the mess hall after a life-threatening mission. The look on Jack's face when he's handed another piece of alien tech and just mutters, "Carter?" Plot holes? Sure. But comfort? Everywhere. Stargate gave us heroes who were flawed but brave, villains who were ridiculous but fun, and a mythology that expanded not just across galaxies, but across eras of our lives. For some, it was childhood wonder. For others, late-night rewatch marathons when the world felt heavy and a wormhole to somewhere else was exactly what we needed. Because they meant the writers were trying, stretching the universe, trying new ideas, risking weirdness. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but it always felt like home. In a way, those plot holes are like wormholes, shortcuts to the emotional heart of the show. They break the rules, but they get us where we need to go. And that's what Stargate always understood.